So hi, this is Pete Cogle. I'm in a lovely park here in Berlin, and I'm with the guys from Blogrebellen and iD.EOLOGY, and have a good time. Will that do? I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to say after that.
Hello there, I'm Volker of the iD.EOLOGY Netlabel, and I'm here in Berlin. Today is May the 23rd. It's a Monday, it's a lovely evening, and we're just getting ready for Tasse Bier. A little get-together of Berlin blogger and net audio crowd. And with me here is Peter Withoutfield of Blogrebellen. He's behind the camera, and the main man of the evening, Pete Cogle from the UK. And I'm going to ask him some questions and do a little interview with him, and he will tell us about what he's doing and what he's about. And yeah, so first off, who are you? What do you do?
Who am I? Okay, I'm a podcaster. I've been podcasting since 2006. I started off with one podcast. I now have a whole factory of podcasts doing different things. And I think the thing is, I just enjoy doing what I'm doing. I got this iPod when I was for Christmas in 2005, and I thought, why on earth have I got this thing? What shall I do? What shall I do with it? And I filled it up with my music, and then I thought I'll look for more things, and I found podcasts, and I tried a few podcasts from the local radio stations, and they were rubbish. So I tried a few other podcasts from independent people, and I thought I can do that. So I thought I'll have a go, and I tried, and I'm here 5.5 years later, still doing it.
All right, yeah. So on your site, one can see that you're actually pumping out a lot of podcasts. It is, in fact, a factory, yeah?
It is, in fact, a factory, yeah.
And so are you earning any money with it? How do you keep afloat?
I did have some money with one of the podcasts for a while, doing advertising, but that's over. And now I just do it for the fun and the enjoyment. And it doesn't cost me anything, because all of my hosting is for the podcasts is free. I pay a little money for my blog site, but that's all. That's not expensive. So I do it and I enjoy it, and people enjoy it, and that makes me happy.
All right. Yeah, that's kind of like, you know, kind of like the same thing with a Netlabel, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it doesn't really cost much, and you can get a lot of fun out of it.
Absolutely.
So you're also a husband and a father, and isn't it hard to find the time to do all this podcasting and put so much time into music?
Yeah, I think when my wife realized, when she bought me this iPod, that it would turn my life upside down and turn her life upside down, she would not have bought it for me. So now, yeah, it can get difficult, but I make the time, and I'm very organized, so I know exactly what I'm doing when I'm doing it, and I plan ahead. But you know, I just have to work at it and just make sure I've got the time. My kids have left home now, so there's no distraction there. My wife likes to go in the garden, especially in the summer. When she's in the garden, I'm looking for music, and so everyone's happy.
So, and you also use a lot of net audio for your podcast. I think almost exclusively. Is that
not exclusively? What it is that I would call it pod safe. So what that means is it is a lot of net audio, a lot of Creative Commons, but also if an artist who is making money wants to give me the track and says, you can have this track, you can play this track, and do not pay me, I can play it. But I just don't want to. What I don't want to do is play a track where somebody goes, now you have to pay me, because I'm not about paying people. I'm all about taking free music that is from people that are new or up and coming. As they're getting bigger and bigger, then I help them along their way. Hopefully I help them. When they get to be big and they can make lots of money, then somebody else can help them.
So it's not about legal reasons only that you use.
It's a bit legal reasons as well. I mean, I think there's always the potential that if I play something from somebody and they get big, they could come back afterwards and say, take that podcast down, and that's happened once. But it's not normally a problem, so I try to avoid it.
Okay, so people talk about getting big and helping them along the way. Net audio, although, is still very much of a niche phenomenon. It's not really recognized, by a very broad audience. Do you think it will be bigger? What do you think will be the future of net audio?
I think that audio will be consumed on the net. Whether that means net audio as you understand it from your Netlabel, or whether that just means everyone will consume everything from the internet, is something different. I think at some point we will all have the radio stations in Berlin, the radio stations in London, and radio stations everywhere will all be on the internet as the primary medium. And at some point, all music will be available, and you will flick through your internet device, your mobile phone, whatever, and pick up anything. And then it'll all be net audio. But from what you do and what I want to do with the music, I don't think it's ever going to get mainstream. We kind of like it underground, don't we? We kind of like being, we don't want to be that popular. We want to do something different. Well, maybe you want to be popular. I don't know.
Not me, but I like the music that I put out to be popular.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But I think dub is my passion. Dubstep, that sort of thing. It's never going to be, you're not going to hear that in the charts. You're not going to hear 12-year-old girls running around singing dub. No, it's not going to.
It's kind of hard singing dub.
Oh, yeah, but, they're not going to be doing this.
Okay, great. So if you play a lot of Netlabel music and classical net audio, are there any favorite labels that you have, or whose output you like?
I try to be eclectic, and I mean I like what iD.EOLOGY does. I like what Fresh Pulp does, A Quiet Bump, all these guys that have been around a long time. And as I've started interviewing more and more people, I've picked up people that have been around for a long time, like Peppermill, On Dub Ground, all these people that I've interviewed over the last sort of few months have all been around a long time, and they're great people. But I also just love to find new stuff. So I found Sociopath Records a few weeks ago, and I have no idea where they were, and I put something on, and it was Klezmer Jungle. Right. And I thought, this is so cool, so what can we have now, So they have lots of records, and I will go through them, and I'll find a new one next week, hopefully.
Okay, so you're always on the lookout for new music.
Yeah.
Cool. If when I look at your site, you always also display the stats, of how many downloads all your podcast series have had, and they go into tens of thousands, really.
It is utterly amazing. I am absolutely in awe of just how many people download my stuff.
Yeah. So how do you achieve this?
Well, the first one started very slowly, and if you look at the stats, they do start very slowly, and then they go up and down a little bit. And then one person said to me, "You like dub," and I thought, I'll do another podcast, and it'll be dub. And I found that if you narrow your market down to narrower and narrower genres of music, you get more and more downloads. And when I did Dubstep Zone, it's even bigger, and I just started doing Hip Hop Zone, and it just goes woof off the charts. And you think it's because people want something really, really niche. But I suppose it's because people are just looking on the net, doing a search for something and finding it. I don't do much publicity. When I started Hip Hop Zone, which is only 3 episodes in now, I just put a little teaser, a little trailer into one of the other podcasts and said, "New zone over here." Mm-hmm. And then first episode, 16,000 downloads.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just thinking, in the first month, and I just think, how did that happen? I have no idea how this happens. I literally have no idea.
So do you do any other sort of promotion then?
Well, when I put something on the blog site, it feeds via Twitter feed into Twitter, and then puts it onto Facebook, and that's it. That's it. And I think because they'll have a lot of contacts with people like you who retweet things. So I think a lot of retweeting goes on. I also manage the website for musicpodcasting.org, which is a site, and that's managed through Drupal. And I've got an aggregator on there, and it brings in all the podcasters that are members of that particular site, and it feeds all the spits it out into the front page. Once again, puts it through Twitter feed. Once again, puts it onto Twitter. So when I put a podcast up, within about half an hour, I've probably had something like 6 tweets from various different sources, and then you guys retweeted. So Twitter is a pretty good medium for sort of getting the stuff out, I guess. Yeah.
But it's largely social media then.
It's all social media. I mean, somebody said to me once, do a video on YouTube. So I did a quick video on YouTube of just samples of songs and a few pictures and stuff, and that's not had much interest. But yeah, I think it's just people just looking for stuff. So, for example, there was a lady in America. She had no idea who I was. She had no idea anything about it. She was a lawyer from somewhere in, where was she? Southern America somewhere, North America, but southern states. And she sent me a note saying, somebody I know has a website. They put a link onto your website. I followed it and downloaded one of your shows. I love it, but I don't know anything about podcasting. What do I do? So I just told her. She said, can I pay for your shows? Can I buy something? Can I download it? Will it expire? All the sort of stuff you normally get with sort of digital rights management on normal stuff. So I said, okay, it's free for you forever. She was like, oh my god, and here's how you get it, and she was just so happy. So from now on, she's a fan, and she will hopefully be a fan of other podcasters and other people that have that music and push it out. So
since you tell about this, a lady who obviously is not too involved with the internet and stuff going on in the free culture scene, let's say, do you have any idea besides that, who are the people that download your music and that listen to what you do?
Well, it depends. I've changed host providers several times, and some of the host providers tell you where the downloads are coming from. And I know that there's an awful lot of them going down in being downloaded in the US, and then the UK, and then I think Germany's third, and then there's France and Canada and places like that, and eventually it tails off. Sometimes you don't find that information, but that's where the downloads are going to. But actually, who the oops, have I pulled the camera there? I do.
Yeah, it looks like it.
It's all right. But who they are,
yeah.
I've no idea. So they could be teenagers, they could be middle-aged guys like me, they could be old people. I have no idea.
Okay, so do you get a lot of feedback then through email or something like that?
I think I've got more feedback now, and the reason I've got more feedback now is I've got more downloads now. So when I started, I think the proportion of feedback is directly proportional to the amount of downloads you get. So when you get 5,000 downloads in a year or something, you get feedback. When you get more, it gets higher and higher. So I do now get email from people saying, "Oh, thank you," or "like that one," or whatever. And some are repeat people. It's nice.
Yeah, cool. So what are your future plans? Are there any novelties you got planned, like going into vidcasting? That seems to be a big thing these days.
I've tried it. I've tried it once or twice with bands that I like. I've sort of said, "Okay, I like your video. You put it here. Can I reformat it and put it down my podcast stream?" And that was a long time ago. And some of my fellow podcasters do a video podcast, and they top and tail it with their own introduction, which works quite well. But to me, I don't think I have a good face for radio, as they say. So I tend to think of it as something that's what I do best. And also, as I think if I was to do a video, it would just take so much longer. The factory would have to shut down several of its production lines to do that. I just haven't got the time. So I like to focus on the audio, and to me, it's all about the audio. And I think the thing is, as well, is that sometimes I get the impression, I get the impression some people don't know how old I am, and they think, okay, he's a quite cool, happening guy, and if that's what they think, and they don't know what I look like, all the better.
Okay, so thanks a lot for this great interview. It was very interesting. And so everyone, if you want to check out Pete's work, go to www.petecogle.com. It's PETECOGLE.com. That's right, yeah. And check out his work. And thanks again for being here.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
And now we hit the fire bar and have some beers. See ya.
Keep the place locked in a live.